I would not have said that was the evening.
Wait, 422?
Is that
What?
Yeah.
Well, we got to consider the East Coast viewers. We got to take an average.
Okay.
4 o'clock is definitely afternoon.
Yeah.
But like,
because you said it's the evening.
I'm talking to my parents, bro. They're in Ohio.
Okay.
All right. 7 o'clock.
Time zones is cheating.
7 o'clock.
We're in LA.
No,
Yes.
I'm talking to my parents, dude. Sorry,
Okay.
Mom and Dad. Isaac's trying to make an argument out of this. Anyway, so we have 7 o'clock is definitely evening. I think that's 100% agreeable, right? Like 100% of the time,
That's
7 o'clock.
evening. Is that not nighttime?
Well, no, 7 o'clock is definitely still evening.
Okay.
I think the earliest that you can claim nighttime is 8.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like evening, the earliest you can call is like 5.
Right. I think that 4 is guaranteed afternoon.
Yeah, okay.
5 is the earliest
All
you
right,
can do.
we're on the same page. I was thinking we might have had a problem. If you were going to be a 4 o'clock is the
No,
evening
4
type
o'clock is
person.
not evening, but I'm just trying to be considerate of the East Coast viewers and like the people that are still watching from Europe. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I'm just trying to be a little bit less egregiously wrong.
Okay.
So I'm trying to have. I'm
5
trying
o'clock
to
somewhere, right?
make a global product, Isaac. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm just looking out for everybody. Okay, let's see what we got. We got Talia, Zeri, Seraphine, Poppy, Silas, Nar. Okay, so no Poppy or no Nar this game. We've been seeing, honestly, quite a lot of both of those champions. So things are going to change up here a little bit in this one. Or maybe they won't change up that much. Azir's been pretty popular, too.
As absolutely. Blue has been pretty good on the Azir as well. I think, as has been his most played champion. It's the only champion that I think they actually got a win on this split, if I'm recalling correctly. No, they have 2 wins. So we'll see how he's going to be able to perform, but has had some big moments on it for sure.
Well, what's FlyQuest going to answer with? Let's see. Come on, give me something spicy here, FlyQuest.
I mean, Tukui has been playing really, really well, but he's not really like super spicy. I mean, I do think that the Talia yesterday was pretty cool. Ahri is much more aggressive, and generally when you see Ahri come through, a team is going to draft something more mid-gamey than like full scale.
Right.
So I'm already kind of interested in seeing what FlyQuest will actually pair with this. Vi would be very aggressive. If you want to go Vi Ahri, you are really looking for pretty heavily playing towards a pick comp, for looking to dive deep. It is one of those things that you can get guaranteed access in onto the Azir. Viego, though, of course, much more middle of the road, more standard. We get so many Viegos in competitive play around the world because it is a pretty good farmer. It scales well. It skirmishes well.
Kind of works with everything.
Yeah, he's just kind of all around pretty strong.
He's one of those champions that I feel like it's sort of like Gnar in top lane or Orianna in mid lane. He works in a lot of different compositions, works in a lot of different situations. He can play early. He can scale. He's just sort of, he's always there. All right, back on the other side, though. Does Dig want to go full send on this scaling attitude? Well, the Aphelios locked in says, yeah, buddy.
Absolutely. And now we have to see, are they going to actually match jungle picks here? Are they going to draft full bot lane and try to have that sort of a discrepancy? Going to be interesting to see also, Gamsu has mostly been playing just kind of weak side, playing more of those scaling picks, trying to survive on his own. Has had a pretty diverse set of champions though that he's willing to play, Shyvana, Mord, he's had some AP Gragas, and then a lot of the staples like the Set20, the GP, the Gnar. Lee Sin coming through here though for River. It's going to be interesting to watch. River, of course, has not yet played Lee Sin this split. Did he play it last split is actually what I'm curious about now. I'm trying to remember if he played it last split. Career-wise, it's actually his most played, but throughout all of this year, he did play it actually 5 times in spring and did not get a win on it. So a little bit rough, but pretty much honestly, almost all their wins were just from Jarvan. They were really dominating on that pick. River had some incredible early games. 9 games played across this year on the Jarvan. Almost 78% win rate is pretty crazy. And then you're looking down, like second most played is Lee Sin, 0-5. Third most played, is the Xin Zhao, 1-4. Dignitas obviously has not been picking up very many wins. We'll see if they can try to do some work to right the ship here, but FlyQuest has been really strong, I think, and does feel like they're one of those teams that's kind of in the middle of the pack, but is trending upward.
Yep. And I like the fact that we also have mirrored roles here for the first half of the draft. It's AD carries, neither AD having their support picked with them here in this first half, and then junglers and mid laners. So the support pool being targeted by Dig here, getting rid of that Nautilus. Gangplank banned out by FlyQuest, trying to hit the top lane pool a little bit. Does Dig want to double down on supports here? Looks like... What? All right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. I was expecting Dignitas ban second. I'm trolling.
Okay.
The what is to me. I was I was watching myself.
I was confused what you were confused about.
I'm 100% trolling. My brain is...
Top lane tanks are banned up,
My
though.
brain is still in the Aatrox play from last game. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I'll own that one. That's totally cool. Ornn banned out. Sejuani banned out. So a couple of big meatballs playable in the top lane. So both teams trying to get rid of those front lines as Tom Kench locked in for FlyQuest.
Okay. You know, I was thinking FlyQuest was going to go more mid-game, as I said, when the Ahri came through, but it does feel like they're pairing up with a lot of kind of more defensive picks, more scaling picks here. The Jinx plus the DK coming through. Zillion would be really interesting, but he's kind of just hovering everything, so I'm not going to get too baited.
Just bouncing around.
But, I mean, FlyQuest, as crazy as it is, if they win this game, they're tied for third.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and we're getting pretty far into the split. We're past the halfway point now. And they are really, you know, climbing towards the top. You know, Cloud 9, it seemed like after they got their full roster, we're going to kind of just skyrocket up towards the top. That has stalled out a little bit. Liquid has taken some losses here as well. So they're 7-4. They're only one game up on FlyQuest. You know, that would put them one game behind 100 Thieves, 2 games behind first if they can actually win here today. So would be a really big one for FlyQuest. It is going to be Braum support there for Biofrost, and it will be the Gragas top for Gamsu. Kind of expecting it to be the first strike AP build that we've been seeing a lot of. Okay. That seems to be the most popular thing these days by far. And we're just looking for a top lane answer now. Gwen would definitely work. I mean, they have a lot of physical damage. Feels like it fits pretty well and can also team fight. Yeah. Fiora is much more kind of like hard commit, I feel like, to the split push. You can join the team, but Gwen has a lot of an easier time doing that. So pretty well-rounded composition here. Feels like a little bit of splash of kind of early game with the Ahri. So I'm just kind of curious how that's going to fit in for FlyQuest, because it does feel like if you're just going to play to scale, then you shouldn't have picked Ahri, right? You should have just gone for like an Orianna or something, you know, kind of more full late game. Yeah. But I'm interested to see if they're going to use this as a PowerPoint early to try to create some action, right? Try to utilize Tukui here alongside Jose and try to create some skirmishes, create some action to really get value out of that. Because if you're just going to trade farm against blue, then the Azir is going to get a lot more than Tukui's Ahri.
And that's what I'm thinking it is, because Tukui has been one of those big important parts for FlyQuest in getting the wins that they have and making these things happen. So I feel like, hey, if you just have everybody scaling up, you're leaving too much to chance, right? You're not giving yourself enough opportunity to really define the game. Having Tukui on a champion like Ahri, that once she has the Everfrost is just adept at making plays and finding picks, set that up. Make it so then, okay, now we do have the time to scale for Gwen. We do have the time to scale for Jinx. I hope that we get to see that level of aggression.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. I do think it can make sense. You don't have to go like full send on late game. You can have some early game champions or mid game champions that can kind of get you there, can bridge that gap. But I still think you have to really then execute, right? You can't just draft Ahri instead of an Azir or whatever and play passive. You've got to be able to make those plays. Otherwise, you're not really getting value out of the pick. So will be an interesting one. We'll see what FlyQuest is going to be able to get done here against Dig, who's searching for some of those wins, trying to keep up towards the bottom of the table. For FlyQuest looking to reach for the top here, looking to move into a two-way tie for third with Team Liquid here, if they are able to pick up that win. Already tied right now with a number of teams. You know, Cloud9, they're tied with CLG as well, you know, at 6 wins. So if they lose, it's a 3-way tie for fourth.
It's a pretty good record, pretty good split so far for FlyQuest, but despite the fact that the overall state of the two teams is pretty different, Dig being towards the bottom, FlyQuest being towards the top, both of these top laners have not had remarkable performances yet. Gamsu and Philip both just been kind of, hey, they're playing top for their team, but they're not really defining anything. So looking at them playing these champs like the Gwen, like the First Strike Gragas, I want to see somebody
a similar vibe to the rest of the team. Yeah, it's something that can be really easily overlooked, but is super important, because a lot of times when you see a super team and it doesn't work out, there's a reason for it. It's because the players aren't getting along. They're all used to kind of being the boss of the team. And, you know, having people that fit those different roles can be really important, but we are back into the game.
All right. Hopefully the lag is all fixed, whether we're in LA or Belgium. As long as everybody's playing on 0 ping, we'll all be fine. Now, Dignitas are going to start River off here at the red buff on the bottom side. FlyQuest going to start Josedeodo off at his own blue. So both these junglers will be pathing from bot to top, unless we just get any wild level 2 ganks after one camp like we saw in the previous game, but that doesn't look to be the case.
No, definitely doesn't. And there's not the greatest gank assist really in any of the lanes.
No, so. Tom Kench can lick.
Yeah, I mean,
oh boy.
You look at mid, you look at bot, you're probably not going too crazy here. Jose Ombiego looking to solidify their top 4 spot. UB number 3. UB tied for third there. So we'll see if they can do it. Some Dignitas fans cheering him on. Push almost always feels like going to go to Jinx in these types of matchups. Having the additional range, having the AoE with the rocket form here. We'll see if Takui can actually hold the wave. A lot of the time, you know, the Azir can get the push in these types of lanes, but it's often like the Azir is fighting the wave and the Ahri is fighting the Azir, and you're kind of trying to, you know, get control through that. Blue going a little bit more lane focus here with the Comet, so he's just looking to have those quick Q poke trades and trying to stay away from Takui, who wants to have a little bit more of an extended trade, you know, utilize the WQ combo, get an auto in there, proc the electrocute very quickly, and have a little bit more of that extended multi-hit trade.
And as we're taking a look at all three lane states here, you can see that it is FlyQuest getting the push in mid lane.
It's almost
getting
four.
The push
Get the
bottom
jungler
lane.
in there too.
Yeah, we got Josedeodo clearing out the chicken camp. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, but again, nothing too crazy happening right now. FlyQuest just trying to get that control there in the lanes, achieving that in 2 out of 3 lanes, top really being that only one where Dignitas still has more minions left.
Yep, but Gamsu is in a bit of trouble, right? He's low on health, he's low on mana, and he needs to actually reset that wave. And they know junglers are pathing bot towards top, so that is an awkward spot. You know, when you are a top laner and you're getting around gank time, you know, gank o'clock is right past 3 minutes generally, so Gamsu gonna have to be careful. Of course, Gragas does have really good sustain in the kit, but he still needs to be able to actually get this pushed in, reset that wave. And if he doesn't, there's potential for Philip to maybe hold a bit of a freeze here, and that's gonna be pretty awkward for Gamsu.
And you saw the consequence of Gamsu being out of mana and Blue not having control over his lane there, while the 2 junglers were both in the top side river looking at that Scuttle Crab spawn. It was Josedeodo that was confident to just kill it, take it, smite it as soon as it spawns. Whereas if River tried to contest that, okay, Ahri and Gwen are going to come over and affect this fight much more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jose, they know that he's going to be doing top scuttle. They know he would be up towards his Krugs. So Gamsu now going to have to back off. There's enough minions there that you're going to deny a lot. You know, when this next wave comes in here from Dignitas' side, that's going to deny pretty much the entire.
Nice.
So we are unpausing. Thankfully, he has that ward. Did the ward expire before Jose left? Does he actually know? I can't see if the ward is there. Okay, the ward expired. So he just has to guess that that Jose did leave. There's a high chance, of course, that Jose left and that he's going to be going down to his romp. So he's just going to say, all right, hope you're not here. And he will be able to walk up and try to unfreeze that.
Yep, he ends up getting the odds on that one to favor him, so Gamsu will just keep trying to move up, push this one in here. Philip, of course, still having his own teleport from having no pressure on him to need to go back yet. I mean, he's cruising here. He feels good.
Yep. And it's this kind of new age build for Gragas where you do go AP, you go first strike, and it's a lot about just kind of comboing these little trades where you can get good value out of the first strike. You know, you hit them with a combo like body slam them, hit him with the Q, hit him with the W, try to get all that little burst damage out in that window where it is the first strike amp. That can be very valuable late game just for a damage amp. Like, it scales very well. But in lane, especially in these melee matchups, if you can avoid them poking off first strike, you can actually farm a couple hundred gold oftentimes in lane, which is really, really valuable. But thus far, Philip has been doing a pretty good job of actually poking it off every time it's up. He's been using the skip and slash, the E, to actually dash away and avoid those Qs, then get back in and actually poke it off with the Q. So it's only actually 30 gold gained thus far in the lane.
Really nice freeze there by Aphromoo down in the bottom lane, making sure that Johnson was able to get back at as many of those minions as possible. You saw that Biofrost was trying to scare him away, try to use the winner's bite or whatever, but Aphro standing at the right spot to both keep the minions out of range of the turret and guarantee that if Biofrost got too close, he would take turret shots himself. So very good stuff. Back up in top side, you can see Philip is finally a little bit worse for wear, does need to go back, shop up, gets himself the Leeching Leer. Did you know that was, when we first did the item rework, that was the one that its name eluded me for the longest amount of time? I think it was probably about like 3-4 months. I just called it Purple Stick.
Well, it is descriptive.
Yeah, I mean, people knew what I was talking about, but for some reason I just couldn't remember that name. Normally I'm all about the alliteration, but that one was not, it was not doing it for me. You know, I still don't know the names of any, the Ornn items. The Ornn items that got changed, I didn't learn any of their names. The only one I know is the Eclipse evolution, which is Syzygy.
Oh,
that's a real word.
Like, I might be thinking of the old names. Is Molten Edge even the new name, like for IE? And
don't know. That's not Syzygy. I never learned it. I know Syzygy, and
You
that's
did
it.
just tell me you don't know any of this.
Yeah,
and I
yeah, you
immediately
set
asked you,
yourself up for
do you
that
know
one.
this one that you just
No
said you didn't
idea.
know?
Sorry, bro. I don't know
can't
the
count to 4.
information.
Well, what's after 4? Don't know.
Don't know. Never got there. Phillips getting that wave crashed in top side. Gamsu's at half HP. Here comes Takui. There's that Ari that we were talking about that we wanted to see the setup for. Gamsu with a nice bit of an outplay there scares him off.
Yeah, that almost would have been able to be a kill. Looked like he tried to body slam flash him. I think he got charmed out of the body slam though. And so that actually interrupts it. Because of that interaction. I would love to see that again if we can get a replay, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened, is that the charm actually interrupted the body slam, because if he actually gets the body slam damage on Takui and stuns him under there, I think he has the 1v2 outplay and actually gets the kill. Still, end of the day, he does survive, was well handled, does have to spend the flash and the ulti, cleared out the wave early with the ult. Is going to be down some farm as a result, but pretty well played by Gamsu. Even had, I don't know, was it yesterday or last week? He had an outplay in a 1v2 as well on the Gragas. Has been pretty solid at actually handling these dive situations.
Yeah, you love to see it. Of course, that does mean that he's going to be extra vulnerable now. We'll see if Jose or Takui finds a way back up there to punish that loss of flash there on the big man in top side. River invading the enemy jungle here, looking to steal away that red on Lee Sin. So, Isaac, I think I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but this is like my rule of Lee Sin.
Okay.
If you draft Lee Sin and your jungler is 0, 0, and 0 by the time he hits level 7, you should have picked something else. I want to see Lee Sin always do something early. Let's take another look at how this play went. Keep your eyes on the charm.
Yeah, I want to see. So he uses the ulti there, body slam, and he tries to flash to redirect. No, it did actually hit
It hit him.
Excuse me. So it was just like a same time thing, and it slowed down. I did actually land it. I didn't think that he actually was able to get it there in time. So it looked like the charm was just kind of buffered out. Either way, really well played there by Gamsu. Does connect it. Didn't have enough damage to actually get that kill, but well played to survive. Takui not able to finish him off, but still a good roam, right? And that's kind of what you want to see, from these picks. You want to see them getting active. Something I actually really like, to talk about Lee Sin a bit. You talk about, okay, if you're 0, 0, 0, you should have picked something else, basically by level 7.
Yeah.
I think it was Peter Dunn, EG's coach, who I first heard this from, that actually really liked. Oh, as Gamsu, no body slam, he is in trouble.
See, this is exactly what we were talking about. No body slam, no flash, no way out. First blood, Josedeodo.
If you use the body slam aggressively, that is also your escape tool. It's so tough there. Takui coming in.
This is going to be even more for the side of FlyQuest as Dignitas not only lose their top laner, but they end up leashing the Herald for the other side as well.
Yeah, gonna go down there. Not able to finish off the Herald. That sucks. They thought, I think, that Gamsu would be able to hold a top lane at parity, but Jose just ganks a lane. Kobe was talking this actually a lot about this yesterday, I believe. Talking about how as a jungler, he feels like it's such a smart way to play the game is to actually gank the lane closest to the objective you're going to do before you do the objective, right? So if you want to go to Herald, gank top to get prio guaranteed there, then you go to Herald. So if you need help, your top laner can come, right? If you want to do Dragon, gank bot, you get prio there. And the same thing kind of applies to how Jose actually did play this out, right? The other team had already started Herald, but he goes top, kills off the top laner. Now Philip can move down, and the enemy team just has to leave, right? So you're going to be able to actually take priority over that. So it is well played. You can see that lane ward actually spotted River out. So Philip wasn't going to do anything crazy in that situation, just going to play it out slowly.
So before that fight broke out, you were talking about Lee Sin and Peter Dunn. I really want to hear what the rest of that plan.
So I actually really like the way that he described this. And the way that he described Lee Sin is that Lee Sin doesn't actually scale with game time or items. Lee Sin scales with skill, right? And I actually truly believe that, because it's like people talk so much about Lee Sin being an early game champion. And I think that's true for most players, right? Even at the pro level. But there are those exceptions to the rule where if you're truly amazing, we're going to have to interrupt that again.
Oh, Takui getting kicked. Oh no! Missed the Q! Takui still has no ulti. They still might be able to catch him here. He's running back towards control wards. He's got no help coming. He's heading towards the Dignitas base. Nice charm there onto the Lee Sin. Blue's going to come over the wall. That makes sure that he gets damage in time, so no execution is a possibility. Takui is still going to die for this. River does pick it up.
But look at mid.
But it took a lot of extra time, and that just means Josedeodo can shove in this wave.
Yep.
He'll grab the first plate with just his auto attacks. The next, he doesn't stick around long enough to grab the entirety of that third plate. So they'll only get the 2.
Still a good play for Dig, good to be able to get that kill. Jose waiting around. You don't want this, Jose. That was a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the idea that, like, if you are a supreme level Lee Sin player, you don't actually have a fall-off point, right? Like, you don't have a point where you're no longer useful in the game.
You'll always navigate and find that kick angle.
Exactly. Because if you can find that, Lee Sin is such an X-Factor champion and has such a high ceiling that it's like there's always a way, if you can figure it out, to be able to use someone to parry with a Q, create extraditions with the ward hop, kick flash, find that. And if you can find that, like, you are someone who's the most valuable champion in the game if you can make that happen. So I always thought that was a really kind of clever way to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because whilst, generally conventional wisdom says Lee follows off pretty hard, and if you can't find those angles, you do. But there's always the opportunity to make those plays happen.
Yeah, I like that description. Good stuff, Peter Dunn. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But let's take a look back here at the top side. You can see those waves staying pretty much dead even between these two, 105 to 106 CS. There's that first plate in the top lane. Gamsu going to acquire that one. Takui's back on the map. Throws out the charm, not finding blue with that one as Josedeodo moves into the enemy jungle. Bottom lane for Dig is very far pushed up, but seeing Takui and Josedeodo contesting this territory in the enemy jungle should let Spawn and Biofrost know that they would have to be careful about some sort of an approach from the Viego or the Ahri as the mid wave gets shoved in again. 12.5 minutes into the game, Azael, and the gold just dead even between the teams. Dig's doing a good job staying even with FlyQuest.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and thus far, at least, the Ahri has not really paid dividends, right? The Ahri has been fine. It's not like Takui's having a bad game. He did make one roam towards topside that didn't pan out, then got killed off once. But the Azir is going to have a lot of value. Bifo talked a lot about the kind of 3-item spike for Azir. So there's definitely still time for Ahri to really be effective in these games. And you do always have that X factor of the charm. If you can really nail one on one of these carries, you can turn things around. But it's going to be pretty difficult for the Ahri to actually fight through champions like the Braum, which really does a good job of actually rejecting a lot of those aggressive plays. So we'll see how FlyQuest can do here. The first dragon was taken very, very late, so
yeah,
could march towards Soul here if they can grab the second dragon, but there's so little pressure of a Soul coming through that Dignitas is not really going to feel the heat for a long time.
Yeah, the lateness of that first dragon is pretty much second dragon timer in a lot of other games, right? Like, we're not going to see this next one up until 16, almost 17 minutes into the game. So 5 minutes is a very long time in a game of League of Legends. It gives you so much more opportunity to hit those spikes, get to those places that you want to be, especially on these champions like the Azir, like the Aphelios, where 3 items really is the name of the game. Mythics coming online across the board for pretty much everybody, and nothing's really too much of a surprise. Aphelios loving the Gale Force for the extra mobility. It gives him Jinx just going for the Kraken Slayer, pure DPS option. And, I mean, you're talking about Takui and how the Ahri hasn't really resulted in a whole lot of playmaking just yet. FlyQuest will always still have that Jinx win con in their back pocket if she manages to hit 6 items and become the main character of the hit show Arcane and just absolutely turn the game into her own highlight reel. Well, then you still got some problems. Josedeodo might just have some problems of his own here. FlyQuest jungler trying to get out as Philip tries to cover his escape, but Gamsu is in, and that's a kill for Dig. Super Mega Death Rocket not finding the mark. Takui can't get over there in time to find anything in return either. Nicely done from Dignitas.
Yeah, well defended by Dignitas, but I'm gonna be honest, FlyQuest had no business going for that play.
Nope.
Takui is mid. You know that Gamsu can come down. You see the other two. At best, Gamsu goes AFK and it's 2v2, but of course he's gonna actually roam, right? So it is gonna be a 3v2 if Takui isn't there. They're posturing very aggressively without vision on the buff, so he couldn't even go for any sort of a smite steal. End up costing him Ghost, ult, and you're gonna lose probably a decent bit of damage on that top lane tower, plus at least a full wave. So, throwing away quite a bit there from a play that they were opting into, trying to take away that blue buff, is pretty low value.
And you were talking about the stakes of this game at the start, talking about how FlyQuest could be tied for third. The early game, I generally consider early game all the way up to 14 minutes. Once the turret plates are gone, I say, okay, we're firmly in mid game now.
So we decided on evening. We've decided on early.
All right, look, man, we're talking times. All right, we're talking times, and I'm just saying. This does not look like the early game of a third-place team so far. FlyQuest has not done what I've wanted to see them do. A little bit of damage over the wall there on the blue, but Takui cannot find anything more. Johnson and Aframu making their way into the mid lane now. Biofrost and River can just back it up. No real threats on either side just yet. Top laners still separated from the rest of the squads, but it's Philip who has started up the second Herald of the game. Remember, they did use that first one in mid. They only managed to grab the 2 plates off of it, so the minimum expectation. Philip doing a good job there. Gwen is immune, and if she wasn't, she would have been dead.
Absolutely, but now he has no W for this fight, right? Without that, it's very difficult for Gwen to actually re-enter the fight, and He doesn't quite have his ulti. No, his ulti is back up. He has no ghost, though. Looks like it's going to be a flip for this.
Here we go. The Herald's going to go down. Dignitas grabbing that one.
Doing
Everfrost with a three-man Everfrost, but Josedeodo's only got 200 HP left. Philip tries to fight. The damage comes through, and FlyQuest just bury him. River tries to pick somebody up, but he can't quite find the cues. The Spectral Maw is coming in. The tongue is going out, and the ace for FlyQuest.
A clean ace from FlyQuest. Takui, I'm sorry for ever doubting the army. The three-man Everfrost there. Everyone's so low, and then he flashes in, gets the triple kill, gets the resets. FlyQuest clean up. And just like that, the gold swing is enormous. We can watch it one more time. The angle here from Takui in the bottom of your screen was so good. Sidesteps the Aphelios sniper Q there. Then as they group up, goes in, hits the Everfrost on 3. It's a two-man root and it's a slow on to spawn. Ults back out. And Philip has a really nice flank angle here, hitting so many people with the ulti. Then as they're trying to actually slink away to safety, the Q through all 3, 1 spell, 3 kills. That's value right there, Flowers. And on the other side, Jose sidestepping the Sonic Wave from River. No way out as the stun from Afro sets up the finish there from Jose. It's a clean ace from FlyQuest. And really, Takui took over that fight. Him and Philip deserve so much credit. I mean, Philip on the flank, without even his W, got so much damage down. But that Everfrost set so much up. And Takui able to really punish there.
Yeah, those two, the biggest factors in that fight. I also want to give some praises over to Afromu, who made sure that he used the Devour on Philip after he came in with the big Q to guarantee that there was no counter kill for the side of Dig, and also was there to set up with the stun and guarantee that Josedeodo would grab that kill without losing his own life when they mopped up River as the last part of the ace. Everybody on FlyQuest working together well there for that one. And now they are fully in control. I said the early game didn't live up to my expectations, but the mid game is doing work for the FlyQuest boys.
FlyQuest heard us talking shit.
Yep, and they said, you guys better sit down. As now they've got the 6-2 lead. They got the second Drake while we were watching the replay of the fight, so they still got that stacking going for them. It is still pretty late overall. Third Drake not going to be around till about 22 minutes into the game, but this is now FlyQuest's game. They're in control. I want to see them push this lead. Move into enemy territory. You can see the jungle of Dignitas is pretty dark for either side. There's not a lot of vision being placed around there. It is a little bit more difficult for FlyQuest to move up because they only have the one turret this game. Both of those side lane tier 1s are still up, which makes it a bit riskier to invade the enemy territory.
Yep, absolutely. But FlyQuest feeling pretty confident at this point, right? They have their 2 items on their mid laner here already. Takui, much faster than Blue too. That after that last fight got such a big injection of gold here. He's going more that utility style build. And Banshee's build, the MR is just super valuable when it's double AP soul lanes, right? It's full AP Gragas. It's going to be full magic damage as well from the Azir here. So going to be pretty happy to grab some MR. Wouldn't be shocked to see Johnson go for a little bit of MR later on, but because you have Tahm Kench in your pocket, you generally want to build pretty aggressive just kind of just trust in the team, trust that Afro is going to be able to keep you safe. He's likely going towards Locket. He is your third summoner spell there, so you don't necessarily need to go for a Hex Shrink or anything like that just yet.
And hey, second item now completed for Johnson on the Jinx. Observers, could we switch to the gold count really quick, please? I want to see how close Spawn is to that one. So 1,500 gold in pocket. He's about 600 gold behind the Jinx overall. Not quite there. And for both of these carries, that 3-item spike, that LDR or Infinity Edge, depending on how many tanks or squishies you're going to be hitting, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think there's any reason for Johnson to go LDR this game. It should just be straight to IE. It's AP Gragas. There's no armor at all built up whatsoever, except on Biofrost just now. So
even Lee has Mercury treads. There's no plated steel caps or anything.
Exactly. So I really think it should just be a rush towards IE. On the other side, Spawn, you're not expecting that much need for it either here, because looking across, really, maybe Viego is going to build like some 3rd item armor, or maybe he'll go towards Death Dance or whatever, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's really just going to be Afro building up much of any. So I think both of them should be rushing towards the 3rd item IE and not really going for the pit stop because we don't have any true tanks. So for now, FlyQuest just looking to push us towards Soul Point. It's going to be about whether or not Dig really is willing to actually contest here. And Jose just being annoying on the recall, just trying to stop this reset here from River over and over again as they push in their waves. try to take away this camp. He knows he has that delayed reset, so he's going to be able to grab that away and just try to maintain control in this area. You know, they have all of the river control. The furthest forward wards are kind of that line that we're going to see FlyQuest move in here and try to take away. And now the Afro's out on the map, and they want to try to get a third dragon here.
Josedeodo is going to move up. Looks for Gamsu, but just ends up baiting out the Everfrost active there. Did not want to overcommit.
That's
to
the tower.
Going after the Gragas. But yeah, the turret's going to fall here. So FlyQuest, you saw Takui take that top lane tier 1 a minute or two ago. Now you're going to see him get that bottom lane tier 1. Now that extra layer of safety I was talking about is removed. Now it's safer to push forward and take control over more of the map. Josedeodo, though,
nice buffer.
Nicely done there. Buffering the ulti. Could not be displaced while he was unstoppable. So that means he can disengage and get away from Gamsu's flash ulti. That is a huge playmaking tool on the side of Dig that they will not have for this fight, for this Drake that's spawning right now.
There's no way. I mean, Gamsu is just useless now. When you're full AP Gragas, you have no flash, no ulti, there's nothing you can do.
There's a Q.
Exactly. So really the only answer now is to try to go top map, top side and try to take something. You know, they are like, maybe we could do Baron, but no one, I think, is really buying that. So, you know, FlyQuest's not going to be too worried about it whatsoever. River goes up, checks some camps, doesn't end up getting anything on the other side of the map. So just really well played by Jose. Had the reaction times there to buffer the ulti to get out to safety, and that alone means they get the dragon. They are now at soul point. They're 3k up already here. And looking really, really strong. The BF sword coming through here for Johnson, so he is going to go third item, i.e. Dig is still working on their second item for spawn, you know, going towards a Bloodthirster to try to deal with, you know, potentially some of this damage that's going to be coming towards him. You know, BT is really strong second item for sure.
Also have the Kimpunk Chainsword completed now for Josedeodo here on the Viego. You've talked about it, I've talked about it, other people have talked about it so much. This item is just incredibly powerful, even if you don't need Grievous at all, which most games of League of Legends will at least have somewhat of a need for Grievous just by the nature of AD carries existing as a class and building lifesteal and having heal, right? So I love the fact that we're seeing more people build this, having such an early, powerful spike with it just in terms of raw stats.
Absolutely. I mean, when it's already efficient on its own without the heal cut, you're just going to get so much value. Lee Sin, of course, has some healing here, you know, with the Safeguard lifesteal passive. Plus, he has Gore Drinker. Plus, we have a BT coming through, and Gragas passive has a fair bit of healing there. So there is going to be some to cut, and it is efficient on its own, so it is a great buy. I'm going to be curious to see if Takui goes toward Death Cap third, which is what I'm expecting, as Jose is going to be squishy, though, with this build.
Josedeodo trying to get away to safety, and the safety comes in the form of a frog's belly. Afromu guarantees that he's able to leave, and that is the sort of bonus that you afford yourself when you draft Tahm Kench. Keep him behind whoever has to face check. All of a sudden, there's no danger.
And it's just smart play, right? They have it set up. It's Afro here pairing up with the jungler. Afro and Jose walk into the enemy jungle together, knowing that if they are in trouble, he is going to be that bailout. Does cost them a couple of ultimates, but not really that big of a deal, as the ultimates are used on the other side there as well. And it's kind of like the modern version of what was the classic of this, which was Thresh, right? You know, Thresh pairing up with the enemy jungler. He would stand behind you, drop the lantern, just in case you get in trouble. So going to be able to use that well, try to fight for vision. And it's going to be about Dignitas trying to get as strong as they possibly can here before this next dragon. They've got 2.5 minutes until Soul Point, until Soul becomes a reality potentially here for FlyQuest.
That is a big, big deal. We've been talking the whole time about how long that it's taking in this game to get to that Drake Soul, but we're finally at that point here as Takui with another multi-man Everfrost.
TP.
With a disengage there, getting away from the charm. Biofrost flashed out, Spawn with the heal to give him the extra move speed too. FlyQuest aren't going to find any kills off of that one, but they get the flash from the support, heal from the AD carry. Philip teleporting in for it, ghosting in for it, so it's not like it was free for him.
No, pretty expensive actually. I mean, honestly, I think overall you're happy about that for Dig, right? Because that is TP down now for Gwen here, so it means that Gamsu is going to have side lane prio. Gwen cannot actually interrupt Gragas' TP short of just straight up killing him while he's channeling it.
Yeah,
so
there's no...
You have to be careful now, right? Because you don't necessarily want Takui here in that side lane answering him. He's kind of your strongest player, so you want him with that 4-man squad. And it does mean anytime Philip looks to answer, you have to be careful now cross map, because Gamsu could look for a TP play of his own. And that's just one of those situations where it just seemed a little bit too ambitious. You know, maybe there was a poor read on the play where they thought Dignitas was going to kind of opt into it, but Jose now is hunting here, but not going to be able to find anything.
Yeah, they just slow him down as he tries to approach. Good Winter's Bite aim there from Biofrost. And even though he doesn't have a flash of his own, as long as he has an ally nearby, you can always jump to them for a little bit of extra safety. It is pro play, so I expect teammates to be able to communicate to each other. Come here so I can jump to you. We've all seen the solo queue games where Braum just clearly needs a buddy to jump to.
Pinging.
Just like, what are you doing? Please come here. Hopefully not in pro play.
No, I would hope not. Well, you're sitting beside them, because at that point you could just slap.
That's where you get to the point where you have the teammates that you don't get along with that you were talking about earlier. My teammate will not stand on the other side of the wall for me to jump to.
Yeah.
Well, 30 seconds, buddy. 30 seconds.
Oh, they're on Baron.
Dignitas
Forget
just
that.
going
they have
for
Azir and
Baron.
Helios. This could be insta-dead.
They are subverting the expectations here. Jakui's rotating over.
Vision,
Afro Phillips. Okay, FlyQuest is coming in, but are they going to get there in time? No, Dignitas. Awesome play. Reading the situation, saying everybody on FlyQuest is going to be thinking about this upcoming soul fight. We don't care. Take Baron.
Yeah, well now they're going to have to care a little bit, because it is a rush towards Soul, and I don't think that they can actually get on the map. They do have more immediate power, of course, but Soul is that lasting power. Yes, you do get an injection of gold as well from that Baron, but Ocean Soul is going to be tough for them to deal with. But if you feel like, hey, there's no shot we can actually contest the Soul anyway, then this is a great call. And we'll see how much gold they can actually collect with this Baron buff. Because they have one of the fastest Baron takes possible here. With Azir plus the White Gun of Helios there, you can crush through that.
House of the Dragon Soul, Game of Thrones promo. Hell yeah, August 21st. Tune in, watch that. And make sure you watch whatever happens now, because I expect FlyQuest to use this. Remember that a soul is going to give you somewhere between around like 4,000 to 5,000 golds worth of combat stats. It's very, very scary. The grievous wounds, like you're talking about, there are no grievous wounds on the side of Dignitas.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Makes Ocean Soul such a mountain to try to get through.
Absolutely. As soon as you see someone grab Ocean Soul, you've got to start picking up Healing Cut. To try to deal with that. At the very least, it's pretty squishy teams, right? So, theoretically, you can get a lot of value in these extended fights. And I think in some of those kind of like long extended siege situations and stuff, you can really hang around forever with Ocean Soul, which can become difficult. But at least there's not big tanks, because tanks are the ones that get the guaranteed value out of Ocean Soul. If you're a dig, you're kind of just telling yourself, all right, we just need to one-shot someone. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, Biofrost in some trouble here. Gamsu covering for him. Throws a barrel over the wall. And okay, nothing else to really happen here. Braum, even if he walks right into a brush and you end up getting to get the jump on him like that, he's so damn hard to get.
Well, and you can see they didn't actually overcommit to it. Philip didn't use his ult. Jose didn't use his ult. So they're saying, all right, just chunk Braum, and that's all we're going to get here.
And I actually like
back.
I like that a lot. Too. I think Braum is the champion that comes to mind for me in terms of
bait, man.
Yeah, it's the bait champ. Whenever I see everybody throw the kitchen sink at Braum, it tilts me into another dimension. Because it feels like 4 out of 5 times minimum it goes bad.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you use all your ultis and you kill him, then the other team can just opt into this fight, right? They spent everything to kill the Braum, into his E, and he's just so tanky with that. So, plus had a stopwatch available, so good restraint there from FlyQuest, but Dignitas pushing here, looking like they want to try to push for this tier 1 mid.
Can't get it.
Not going to be able to get it.
Not even with a Baron.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign if you can't take tier 1 mid with a Baron buff.
I mean, I think they were really nervous because Blue went top and Tukui left. So I think they were saying, all right, Tukui could be looking for some sort of wraparound. We don't want to get caught here. So they do take down that tier 1 top. I believe they just grabbed that. Now, another item completed there for the Azir. So Death Cap in for Blue. So a massive spike for him. Death Cap is down on the other side for Tukui. The IE is done as well for Johnson. So there's some really big item completions coming through on both sides. Philip also almost done his Death Cap. So the game is really ramping up. And I do think Ocean Soul is a big advantage. But if Gamsu hits that perfect engage, right? And if you have that full AP Gragas combo landing on someone like Johnson or Tukui or whoever, follow up from an IE spawn once he has that completed, his Death Cap is here, like you just insta-die and you get no value from it.
Right, it's general game theory stuff, right? Like burst beats regeneration. Regeneration, if it's good enough, can beat extended situations in DPS. So let's see if they can hit that burst. Let's see if Gamsu can find that angle. Blue with the Rabadons, being able to follow it up for the powerful burst. Still no Infinity Edge for Spawn. That is a huge difference between these 80 carries power points right now, is Johnson has that 3-item power spike. Spawn's still trying to get there.
Yep, just got it right now on the base. So, they are at actually really strong points because FlyQuest Gold Lead pretty much means nothing at this point, right? 3 items for basically everyone that matters now on Dignitas. It is an advantage for FlyQuest, but we'll see if they're really going to try to push it here You know, they'd love to take kind of non-committal skirmishes where they can get a lot of value. You don't want those 100-0 fights when you are playing with the Ocean Soul. Blue here, though, going to be able to clear this out exceptionally fast.
Good shot from Johnson there, popping the Banshee's Veil of Blue, making it so he is vulnerable to any CC they might be able to fish for. But now Afromu gobbling up Johnson, keeping him safe from the attempt there. Coming out from Dignitas and Biofrost's ulti. Josedeodo now having to respect that Dignitas is moving back into their own jungle here. Wants to try to contest the blue buff. Does smite it away. Nicely done.
Yeah, denying that from blue can be important in these later stages of the game, especially if you can stay out on the map. You know, you have the Ocean Soul. You're never going to run out of mana. You're never going to run out of health in these long siege situations. You want to try to tax their resources as much as you can to get value out of that soul. And in the 1v1, Philip's going to be having a good time now because the way that Gragas wins in that 1v1 is only by poking down the Gwen. You can't just take a 100-0 fight against Gwen. You will never win like that as an AP Gragas. And when they have Ocean Soul, you can no longer poke them out whatsoever. So FlyQuest just trying to control this area of the map. The Baron does spawn first in about 50 seconds. 30 seconds after that, the Elder is up. If they can get both those mega buffs, that's their kind of window to try to really close out this game. But it's tough against the wave clear that Dignitas has drafted.
You know what I just realized? Dignitas now has 3 players on their roster whose names are places in the game. The River, the Blue, and the Spawn. We need to get Gamsu and Biofrost to name change to like Red and Chicken Pit. Like,
Grom.
Yes, Grom. Yes, Red and Grom.
Dignitas Grom.
Yes, just change your name
I
to
would
Red
cheer
and
for
Grom.
Dignitas Grom.
That would be badass, man. I actually enjoy the fact that Spawn fits the name scheme that Blue and River have brought us here. We're gonna have to reprise that skit that we did.
We can remake it.
Yeah, we can
We can go
do it.
deeper.
Yeah, there's always a more extreme version.
We can always make it more dumb. That's something that I've learned.
I pride myself on being able to make anything more dumb than it currently is.
We have built a career.
It's our brand. Well, let's see if FlyQuest can rush down this Baron. Dignitas is in a bit of a tough spot now because they have to go up here. They can't just allow this to get away for free,
They've got no
but it's
vision.
such a risk.
It's not actually dying that fast, though, because they are just kind of two-manning it right now. Gwen is not on, and they are going to try to get in.
Takui with another good multi-man Everfrost, just keeping him out. There goes the Baron. The first one went over to Dig uncontested. The second will go the way of FlyQuest the same. But the problem is,
Elder now.
FlyQuest now has this Baron as the Elder has spawned. Dignitas are going to move into the bottom river, so they have priority over the area. But this fight's going to mean a lot. Afromu losing half HP right there. Nice poke from Dig, trying to wear him down a little bit. Thick Skin's going to regenerate about half of that. This one's going to be big. This will probably decide everything.
I mean, look at Takui and Philip. They're kind of threatening a flank. They're going together as this two-man squad. If Dignitas commits to the Dragon, we're going to see these guys look for the wraparound through here and to try to find this angle. You cannot ignore that for Dignitas, so it becomes very, very difficult. And FlyQuest can also just push mid, and they're doing that right now with Johnson. So Johnson pushing up mid, but he will want to get back over here and actually be ready to answer because this Elder Dragon can decide the game potentially here. It could be a flip.
Elder Dragon at 5K.
Here comes Takui and Philip.
River trying to get back to the rest of the team. Takui isolated, trying to get himself back to the safety of the tier 1 turret. And he's going to do it. The Elder Dragon still aggroed now by FlyQuest, and they want to be able to burn it down, and they will. Secured by Josedeodo as Takui bought so much time for the rest of the team. Gwen is immune and Philip is in there. The turrets are destroyed. Dignitas are destroyed. The Elder Dragon is blasting everybody straight to hell. And FlyQuest are the ones sending them there. Ace for nothing. Triple kill over to Johnson.
FlyQuest are gonna do it. They're gonna end the week tied for 3rd place here with Team Liquid, moving to 7-4. What a showing from FlyQuest. The flanks from Philip and Takui making such a difference in this game. Everyone piling in, cleaning him up. Takui baiting Dignitas to chase him away, securing them that Elder. And that's really what changed the game.
Takui took nasty. He got the Everfrost on 3 men up in the topside river fight that gave him the first ace. He got the bait that drew him away from the Elder Drake that set them up to get the 2nd ace for nothing. That was awesome. Good stuff, FlyQuest.
Absolutely. And Takui and Philip are becoming quite the duo in this game. You talk about that Everfrost. It was Philip softening everyone up so that Takui could go in there, finish them off, get that triple kill. Then again here, Takui going in, baiting everyone to kind of chase him away. His team finishes the Elder, and it's Philip with the pincer play there, getting so much damage down. FlyQuest looking really coordinated in this one. giving up only 2